Greetings and welcome to today's session. Today we are looking at another KABS ICT Resources Center paper, and specifically we are looking at an O-level paper which is 840-1, August September 2026. This ICT paper 1 again takes 2 hours and 15 minutes. Remember, the paper is consisting of 2 sections, A and B. In total is 5 items. Section A has 1 compulsory item. Section B has 2 parts, part 1 and part 2. One must answer 1 item from part 1 and 1 item from part 2. So we are now going to look at these items and then we digest their expected responses. So to begin with, we are looking at section A for the compulsory item, and it is item 1. And it says, Kakumiro Farmers Cooperative Society has grown quickly and now serves hundreds of farmers from nearby villages. As the cooperative has expanded, a number of challenges have started affecting daily work. A. Letters, payment statements and reports take too long to prepare and often poorly presented. B. Working out produce quantities, charges, deductions, and payments by calculator and ledger books often leads to errors. C. Farmers seated far from the front struggle to see presentations clearly. Some farmers find it hard to hear speakers during large meetings. E. Management finds it difficult to keep track of when employees report for and leave work. F. Paying farmers in cash causes long queues and makes handling large amounts of money risky. So here we are looking at the areas of focus from part A to F. So we look at the support material provided. We are seeing, for example, we can see that from this very Kakumiro Farmers Cooperative Society, we are seeing a secretary handling materials manually, the accountant on the calculator, attendance list, farmers in progress. They are using a whiteboard and some flip charts. On the cashier's table, people are lining up to receive cash. Then the management would like to use ICTs to improve these activities, but is not sure which ICT tools would be suitable or how to keep them working properly for a long time. Task Part A. Guide the management on the appropriate ICT tools it can acquire and use to solve the challenges identified above. Part B. Explain how the recommended ICT tools can be properly managed and maintained so that they remain in good working condition and continue serving the cooperative effectively. So we have seen the challenges at the cooperative. They are here, which are presented as areas of focus. that will help us in suggesting the required ICT tools. So when it comes to this very item, or when it comes to paper one, the question approach, really each base of assessment has the way the items are approached. For example, in section A, the item we are from reading, it is from the first element of construct, appreciates and manages the computer system. The basis of assessment for this item are three. One, identifying and describing relevant ICT tools. Two, identifying and describing the relevant management measures. Three, it must be a formal presentation. So these are the three bases of assessment for this item one. And for each base of assessment, we are going to look at the standards in that very base of assessment. Now, when it comes to this basis of assessment, the introduction must have the basics. The basics include the character in the scenario, the areas of focus, the direction, recommendation, or judgment. That is the standard for an introduction. Then, for part B of the applied ICT tools, identifying and describing the ICT tool, the ICT tool identified must be relevant. Then, one must be accurate in describing the tool. And then, the response must be coherent with a particular area of focus in the scenario. Then, when it comes to tool management, the learner should first state the tool that is being managed, bring out the management measure, clearly explain the management measure or why that management measure is recommended, and then how does the management measure or maintenance measure lead to improved lifespan of the tool, or what will happen if the management measure is not implemented. Those are the standards for item one. And from those standards, I would like us now to look at the expected responses. So when you look at the expected responses, I'm beginning with an introduction. So I'm starting with an introduction. And when it comes to this very introduction, here is our introduction. Trying to zoom it briefly. So here we are having our introduction for item one. So we start numbering our item. After numbering our item, we bring the introduction, and we say the introduction must have the basics. The basics for an introduction include the character in the scenario, the areas focus, and then the direction or judgment or what needs to be done is the basics of an introduction. So, for example, Kakumiro Farmers Cooperative Society is struggling with several day-to-day activities. Preparing documents take too long. Manual calculations often lead to errors. Farmers cannot see or hear clearly during meetings. Staff attendance is difficult to track, and paying farmers in cash creates long queues and security risks. So these are the areas of focus. This is the character, and then the direction or what needs to be done. The cooperative can improve these activities by using suitable ICT tools and taking proper care of them so that they remain reliable over time. So this is our introduction, and this introduction, once all the basics are there, it is given 2 scores. So because we have the character mentioned, then we have put the areas of focus, that is preparing the documents take too long, manual calculations often lead to errors, etc. And then here we have the direction. Those are the basics in the introduction. So part A. Part A was looking at guide the management on the appropriate ICT tools it can acquire and use to solve the challenges identified above. So we are going to bring a tool, the area of focus, and then we describe that tool very well. So to begin with, we have a computer set. One can call it a computer system or a laptop. That is our first tool. Then the area of focus. This tool is going to solve preparing documents and handling calculations for produce quantities, charges, deductions, and payments. So here we have identified our tool and the area of focus. We are having it. Now let us describe the tool, how it is going to be helpful in solving this very area of focus. The cooperative should acquire a reliable desktop computer or a laptop with specifications such as Intel Core i5 or i7 processor, 16 GB of RAM, 512 GB of SSD with Windows 11 Professional. So these are the specifications of the computer that we are recommending. Then how is the computer going to be helpful? The processor and the RAM will allow applications such as Microsoft Word and Excel to run smoothly, while the SSD will provide fast storage and retrieval of letters, reports, farmers' records, and payment information. The computer will give staff a platform to prepare documents, processing calculations electronically instead of relying on manually handwritten records and calculators. So this is why we need a computer set with this kind of specifications. So here we have described our tool computer. The second tool that we need is a word processing software. Which area of focus are we attaching a word processing software? Letters, payment statements, and reports take too long to prepare and are often poorly presented. So how is the word processor going to solve this area of focus? So we are saying the cooperative should use a licensed word processing software application, meaning that we don't need those processors which are going to say product activation failed, something like that. So we are saying that they should use a licensed word processing application such as Microsoft Word 2024 or 2021, Microsoft 365 Word, or even LibreOffice Writer. That is our recommendation. A word processor allows staff to create, edit, format, save, and print documents easily. The spelling and grammar checker will help identify mistakes as letters and reports are typed. Font and font size tools will make headings and important information stand out, while alignment, line spacing, and indentation can be used to arrange paragraphs neatly. Tables can also organize payment statements and other information clearly. These features will help staff prepare neat, accurate, and well-presented documents much faster. So here we have described our word processing software and how it is going to help in solving this area of focus. More to that, we are looking at spreadsheet software. And this tool, we are looking at this area of focus, working out produce quantities, charges, deductions, and payments using calculators and ledger books often leads to errors. So this area of focus, we want to see how are we going to solve it using a spreadsheet software. So to begin with, we are going to recommend a better spreadsheet software. The cooperative should use spreadsheet software such as Microsoft Excel 2024, 2021, or Microsoft 365 Excel. Excel can perform calculations automatically using formulas and functions. The sum function can calculate total produce supplied or total payments, while if function can apply different charges or deductions depending on set conditions. Sorting and filtering can help staff quickly find out particular farmers' transactions, while charts and graphs can present the information visually, for example, by comparing the quantities of produce supplied by different farmers. Using these features will reduce repeated manual calculations and help the cooperative obtain more accurate payment figures. So here we have described our spreadsheet software. More to that, our tool number 4 is a multimedia projector. And the area of focus here, we are looking at farmers seated far from the front struggle to see presentations clearly. So let us recommend this kind of better projector. The cooperative should acquire a multimedia projector with about 3,000 to 5,000 lumens. With 3,000, 5,000 lumens brightness, with full HD resolution, which has HDMI and USB connectivity and keystone correction. That is the projector we are recommending. And let us describe the projector very well, what it is going to help in solving this area of focus. So we are saying the projector will enlarge text, charts, photographs, and presentations from a computer onto a large screen or onto the wall. Now, we suggested high brightness because of the 3,000, 5,000 lumens. Why? The high brightness will keep the display visible in a reasonably lit meeting room, while the full HD resolution will keep text and images clear. The keystone correction will help straighten the image if the projector is not positioned directly in front of the screen. This will make it easier for farmers seated far from the front to follow presentations during the meetings. So this is our description for our multimedia projector. Let us now look at another tool, which is a public address system. It is solving which area of focus? some farmers find it difficult to hear speakers during large meetings. Now, which kind of public address system are we recommending? That the cooperative should acquire a public address system made up of microphones, amplifiers, or mixer and suitable loudspeakers. The microphone will pick up the speaker's voice, the amplifier will strengthen the sound, and the loudspeakers will carry it around the meeting area. Wireless microphones can also allow presenters to move freely while speaking. This will make speeches, explanations, and announcements clear enough for farmers seated throughout the meeting area. So this is the description of our public address system that we identified. So from here, let us bring another tool, a biometric attendance system, and it is sort of in which area of focus. Management finds it difficult to keep track of when employees report and when they leave for work, which we are calling attendance. So generally, attendance is not easy to track. So the cooperative should install a biometric attendance system such as fingerprint or facial recognition device. The system will identify each employee using a unique biometric feature and automatically record date and time of arrival and departure. It can also produce attendance reports showing late coming, absenteeism, and hours worked. Because the records are linked to an individual employee, the system is more reliable than handwritten attendance register and makes it difficult for one worker to sign in for another one. So here we have described what a biometric attendance system can do. Let's now look at another tool, electronic funds transfer system. EFTS, solving which area of focus? Paying farmers in cash causes long queues, makes handling large amounts of money risky. So the cooperative should use an electronic funds transfer system to pay farmers directly through their bank accounts or mobile money accounts like using MTN or Airtel mobile money options. Once payments have been approved, the money can be transferred electronically instead of requiring farmers to queue for cash. Electronic payments also create transaction records that can be checked against farmers' payment statements. This will shorten queues, reduce amount of cash kept at the cooperative, and lower the risk of loss or theft. So here we have described what electronic funds transfer system as an ICT tool will help in solving that area of focus. So for now, that was part A. Part B, we are going to explain how the recommended ICT tools can be properly managed and maintained so that they remain in good working condition and continue serving the cooperative effectively. So to begin with, we said here we first bring out the ICT tool that is being managed. So we are going to manage a computer set or a laptop, and our management measure is use updated antivirus software and UPS. Let us briefly describe this management measure or why this management measure and what happens if the management measure is not there. The computer or laptop should be protected with a licensed and regularly updated antivirus software, licensed and regularly updated antivirus software, e.g. Kaspersky 2026, Bitdefender, Notion 360, Microsoft Defender, SmartDAV, and connected to a UPS. Now, why this management measure? The antivirus will protect the cooperative files and programs from malware. That's why we need an antivirus. Why do we need a UPS? The UPS will provide temporary power during outage and prevent sudden shutdowns. That is why we need those management measures. Then lastly, if these measures are ignored, files may be corrupted, deleted, or lost, and unstable power may also damage the computer. So here we have explained our management measure for this very computer. Next, we had a word processing software, and for the word processing software, the management measure is keep the software licensed and updated. The word processing software should be properly licensed and regularly updated. Why do we need licensed software and why do we need to update? Licensing ensures that the cooperative uses a genuine copy. Why do we need to do updates? Updates for them, they fix software problems, they improve security and maintain compatibility with the documents. What if we don't do updates? The software may become unstable, like it can start freezing, it can close unexpectedly, it failed to open some files properly, or expose the computer to security risks. So here we have explained our management measure. We also have a spreadsheet software which we need to maintain, and our management measure for continued service is save regularly, backup workbooks, and protect them with passwords. Important spreadsheet workbooks should be saved regularly, backed up, and password protected, especially those containing farmers' produce, deductions, and payment records. So why do we need to save regularly? It reduces the chances of losing recent work. Why do we need to backup? Backups provide another copy if the original file is lost or corrupted. Why do we need passwords? Passwords help to prevent unauthorized access. What if these maintenance measures are not done or they are ignored? Important financial records may be lost, they may be changed or accessed by people who are not authorized to see them. So here we have finished our management measure for spreadsheet, and now we need to look at number 4, which is a multimedia projector. How do we maintain our projector? Allow it to cool, clean it regularly, and store it in a dust-free place. The projector should be allowed to cool down properly after use. It should be cleaned regularly and stored in a clean, dust-free space, preferably in a suitable carrying bag, the projector bags. Cooling protects the lamp and internal parts from excessive heat, while cleaning and proper storage prevent dust from blocking the vents or affecting the lens. If this measure is neglected, the projector may overheat, may produce unclear images, or develop lamp and fan problems. So this is our management measure clearly explained. Number 5, we have a public address system, and we need also to maintain it for continued service. So the management measure for a public address system is to use a voltage stabilizer handle it carefully, and store it properly. The public address system should be connected to a voltage stabilizer, handled carefully, stored in a clean, dry place after use. Why do we need a stabilizer? Why do we need to handle carefully? And why do we need to store it in a clean place? The stabilizer protects the amplifier and other components from voltage changes. While careful handling and safe storage, they protect microphones, speakers, and cables from damage, dust, and moisture. So what if we don't do these maintenance measures? The system may develop electrical faults, damaged cables, distorted speakers, or amplifier problems are going to happen. So, number 6, we are looking at a biometric attendance system, and with this system, its management measure for continued service, we need to clean it regularly, connect it to a UPS, and make backup of the attendance records. The biometric attendance device should be kept clean, connected to a stable power through a UPS, and backed up regularly. Why? For example, cleaning the fingerprint sensor or camera helps the system to recognize the workers properly. The UPS keeps it running during power interruptions, while the backups, they protect attendance information if the device fails. What if we don't do these measures? Some employees may fail to register correctly, and important attendance records may be lost. So this is our biometric attendance system, how we can manage it. Lastly, we have the electronic funds transfer system, and for it to protect it, we need to use strong passwords, enable two-factor authentication, and do backups plus regular reconciliation. The electronic funds transfer system should be protected with a strong password, two-factor authentication. Transactions should also be backed up and regularly checked against farmers' payment records. Why? Strong authentication helps to prevent unauthorized access. For the backups, they preserve transaction information. Reconciliation will help management identify missing, duplicated, or incorrect payments. If these measures are ignored, unauthorized people may gain access to the system. Fraudulent transactions may occur, and payment errors may go unnoticed. So here we have explained our management measure for the electronic funds transfer system. So up next, we are going to be looking at item 2. So for item 2, that is from section B, part 1. So from section B, part 1, we are going to be looking at that is item 2. Here is our item 2. I think I didn't label it, but this is our item 2. And we are saying that the item is saying that Ruelo Community Produce SACCO uses computers to keep records of members' savings, loans, and produce payments. Recently, the accountant noticed a number of problems. 1. Some members' account balances had changed without permission, and a few important documents could no longer be opened. 2. Some office computers had become very slow, kept showing pop-up messages, and had unfamiliar programs on them. 3. A few staff accounts had been accessed without the owners knowing. These are some of the issues the SACCO is facing. These are ICT system security issues. The SACCO also has several faulty monitors, keyboards, routers, system units, UPS batteries, and other electronic devices that are no longer being used. Some have been left outside, while others are being thrown together with ordinary rubbish. Management is now worried about the safety of its computer systems and how to deal with the growing amount of unwanted electronic equipment. So when we look at this image, for example, file corruption and e-waste at Ruwero Sacco, we are seeing that, for example, this one tried to open a document and it is saying the file is corrupted and cannot be opened. The file may be damaged, or it may use a format that is not supported. Someone is trying to open the Sacco computer system, then this side we are seeing electronic waste piled, and now we need to handle those two areas. Part A, advise the SACCO on how best to deal with ICT security problems and prevent similar problems in the future. Part B, advise the SACCO on suitable ways of managing the unwanted electronic equipment. Now, when it comes to item 2 and item 3, from our presentation here, we come to section B, part 1, which is from the second element of construct, which forms item 2 and item 3. This construct appreciates ICT safety and proper management of e-waste. The basis of assessment here is that the learner should show competence in management of e-waste and should show how this e-waste can be managed properly. So also they need to show competence in management of safety, security. So when we talk about safety and security, we are looking at users or people, the devices themselves, and the internet. Then we need to see a formal presentation style. So with this kind of basis of assessment, we are going to see that all items of section B part 1, that is item 2 and 3, must have e-waste in them. Then 1 or 2 of the others is on safety and health, then ICT elements. Safety and health of the ICT elements, these include users, data, then equipment. And internet abuse are added to e-waste to complement them. So meaning that when we are dealing with that part of e-waste, the task taker to demonstrate or prove that they are competent in proper management of e-waste, they must identify and describe relevant approaches in handling the given e-waste situation. They should also identify and describe the relevant stakeholders, and then they identify and describe the relevant stakeholder roles. Identify and describe an approach, identify and describe a stakeholder, identify and describe the stakeholder roles. Then, for anything to do with the ICT users and other system elements, that is health and safety, a learner must thoroughly explain the causes or explain the consequences plus their mitigations. And in doing so, they must adhere to the following standards. What is the cause? If the item is calling for a cause, or what is the consequence for that case? Then, after bringing out the cause or consequence, how did or would it lead to the problem? The problem can be security or a health concern. Then, after explaining these two, provide a mitigation there and then. Provide a mitigation and then explain how does the chosen mitigation solves the problem. So we need to see that well brought out. Then that brings us to our item. It brings us to our item 2, expected responses. So let us go to our item 2, expected responses, and we start addressing this as well. So to begin with, we are going to begin with an introduction. So we are going to start with an introduction. Item 2, now we bring an introduction. Rural Community Produce Circle is facing security problems such as altered member balances, inaccessible documents, slow computers, pop-up messages, and unauthorized access to staff accounts. It also has faulty monitors, keyboards, routers, system units, UPS batteries that are being poorly handled. The circle should strengthen its ICT security and manage the unwanted equipment properly. So this is our introduction, which has the basics as well. Now, on part A, advise the circle on how best to deal with the ICT security problem and prevent similar problems in future. So this item is on ICT system security, where we are looking at data and system security. And this item is calling for causes and mitigations, because we have been given some of the issues that are happening. Now we want to see the causes of those very issues. For example, number 1, we have weak or missing passwords. This is the cause. One possible cause of staff accounts being accessed without the owner's knowledge is the use of weak, easy to guess, or missing passwords. Then how is this a problem, or how does this lead to a problem? Passwords such as names, telephone numbers, or simple number combination can easily be guessed, allowing unauthorized people to access staff accounts and possibly alter savings I mean members' savings, loan or payment records. So here we have explained our cause, and then we need to provide a mitigation there and then. The circle should require every staff member to use a strong and unique password containing a mixture of letters, numbers, and special characters. Passwords should not be shared between employees. How does this chosen mitigation solve the problem? Strong passwords make accounts more difficult for unauthorized people to access, helping to protect members' records from alteration or theft. So this is our mitigation measure from this very cause. Note that lack of two-factor authentication. Staff accounts may also have been accessed because they relied only on passwords for protection. If a password is discovered or stolen, an attacker may log into the account without the owner's knowledge. So this is our cause and how it can bring the problem. What is the mitigation for this? The circle should enable two-factor authentication on important accounts and systems. This requires an additional verification method such as a one-time code sent to the authorized phone or authentication application. How does this chosen mitigation solve the problem? Even when a password is stolen, the attacker is less likely to access the account without the second verification factor. So here we have provided our mitigation measure. Number 3, the cause could be virus or malware infection. The computer is becoming slow, showing repeated pop-ups, and developing unfamiliar programs may indicate infection by virus, spyware, adware, trojans, or other malware. So how does this contribute to a problem, or how does it lead to a problem? Malware can consume computer resources, install unwanted programs, change system settings, and corrupt stored documents, which may explain why some files can no longer be opened. So we have explained our cause. Now we need to bring our mitigation. The circle should install and regularly update a trusted antivirus or anti-malware software such as Windows Security, Kaspersky, Bitdefender, Notion 360, and carry out regular system scans. So how does the chosen mitigation solve the problem? Updated antivirus software, it detects, blocks, quarantines, and removes malicious programs before they damage the files or interfere with the normal computer operation. So that is our mitigation measure. Number 4, one of the causes could be downloading programs from untrusted sources. Unfamiliar programs and pop-up messages may result from downloading and installing software from unknown websites or unreliable sources. Some free programs may come bundled with adware, spyware, or other malicious applications. And what is the mitigation? Staff should download and install software only from trusted developer websites or authorized software sources. Installation rights should also be restricted to authorized personnel such as the ICT administrator. How does this chosen mitigation solves the problem? We are saying that this reduces the chances of malicious or unwanted applications being installed on the SACCO computers. Another cause is failure to update the operating system and applications. Because outdated operating system and applications may contain security weaknesses that attackers or malware can exploit. This can lead to unauthorized access, corruption of documents, and poor computer performance. The mitigation is that the SACCO should regularly install operating system, browser, antivirus, and application updates, and enable automatic security updates where applicable. Because updates fix unknown security weaknesses, they correct software errors and improve system stability, reducing the risk of attackers and unexpected software failures. So that was another cause, and this is our mitigation. Number 6, we can look at one cause can be unsafe use of flash disks and other removable media. Malware may have entered the SACCO computers through infected flash disks or other removable storage devices. Once connected, malicious files can spread to the computer, corrupt documents, and slow down the system. And how can we prevent this? All removable storage devices should be scanned with updated antivirus software before files are copied or opened. Also, auto-run or automatic execution of unknown files should be disabled. Why? Scanning detects harmful files before they enter the computer and helps prevent malware from spreading between the SACCO computers. One last cause could be leaving accounts or computers logged in, because unauthorized changes to account balances may occur when staff leave computers or accounts open while away from their workstations. Another person can use the unattended session to view or change information. What is the solution to this? Staff should log out or lock their computers whenever they are to leave their workstations, and automatic screen locking should be configured after a short period of inactivity. Why? This prevents other people from using an employee's active session to access or alter confidential SACCO records. So those were the possible likely causes of the issues that we have seen happening here. These issues here, we have seen them, and now we suggested the possible causes. So more to that, let us look at part B, and with part B, we are going to be looking at advise the SACCO on suitable ways of managing the unwanted electronic equipment. So here we are basically looking at e-waste management. So we said a candidate should be competent in explaining, in identifying and describing an approach, bringing out the stakeholder and their roles. So let's begin with donation. So for donation, it involves giving electronic equipment that the SACCO no longer needs, but which is still working or can work after minor repair, to people or institutions that can still use it. That is what the donation means. So here I'm going to be a little bit detailed so that we get to understand these approaches very well on how to deal with them. So at Ruero Community Produce Circle, old but unstable computers, monitors, keyboards, or routers can be donated to nearby schools, training centers, or community organizations. So who are the stakeholders here? The circle management should first identify the usable equipment, approve it for donation, and record what has been given out. Another stakeholder we can look at, a qualified technician can inspect or repair the devices before handover, while the beneficiary school or the organization receives, installs, and continues using them. For example, an old computer that is no longer suitable for the circle's financial work may still be used for teaching basic computer skills in a nearby school. Donation therefore clears unwanted equipment, it extends its useful life, and reduces e-waste. So here we have to bring an approach that is the measure to managing e-waste, and then we need to explain it well, which we have done, and then we bring some stakeholders. For example, circle management, its role is that a qualified technician as a stakeholder, SH, the role is that, and the beneficiary or the school where these gadgets are going, their role is that. Next approach, we have sell for cash. Sell for cash, it involves selling old, faulty, or unwanted ICT equipment to technicians, scrap dealers, or second-hand electronic traders who can repair, resell, or recover useful parts from it. So this is our approach. And now we need to explain it clearly. The circle can sell unwanted monitors, keyboards, routers, and system units instead of leaving them outside or mixing them with ordinary rubbish. The circle management should identify and record the items approved for sale and receive payment for them. Then technicians or second-hand electronic traders then collect the equipment, repair what can still work, remove useful spare parts, and send the remaining unusable materials to appropriate recyclers. That is the role of technicians or second-hand electronic traders in sell for cash. For example, a faulty system unit may be sold to a technician who removes its working RAM and power supply for use in repairing the other computers. This clears the circle premises and allows it to recover some money from unwanted equipment. Another approach, we are having recycling. Recycling involves processing electronic equipment that can no longer be repaired or reused so that useful materials such as copper, aluminium, plastics, and other valuable materials can be recovered. So with this kind of approach at the circle, Completely damaged monitors, routers, system units, and other unusable equipment should be handed over to licensed e-waste recyclers. The circle management as a stakeholder sorts the equipment, keeps disposal records, and arranges its handover. That is the role of the circle management in this recycling part. We have other stakeholders, for example, authorized collectors or transporters. These ones, they are going to move the e-waste safely to recycling facilities. We also have stakeholders like licensed recycling companies. These ones are going to dismantle and process the equipment to recover usable materials. While NEMA or other local authorities, their role is to regulate and monitor the process to ensure that environment requirements are followed. Environmental requirements are followed. So those are different stakeholders and their roles in managing e-waste when it comes to recycling as an approach. For example, copper and other useful materials can be recovered from damaged electronic equipment instead of the entire device being dumped. Recycling, therefore, reduces the circle's e-waste and prevents pollution from careless disposal. Let's look at another approach, which we call Take Back Program. What does Take Back Program mean? It involves returning old or faulty electronic equipment to the supplier, the importer, or manufacturer for refurbishment, recycling, or safe disposal. So the circle can return faulty monitors, routers, UPS units, or batteries to suppliers that operate take-back programs. The circle management here is going to identify equipment covered by the arrangement, records it, and contacts the supplier. Then the supplier as a stakeholder or the importer or the manufacturer collects the equipment and sends it to an approved repair, recycling, or disposal facility. For example, a supplier who provided the circle with UPS batteries may collect the worn-out batteries when replacements are purchased and send them to an authorized processor. This removes hazardous equipment from the circle and places it in the hands of organizations able to manage it safely. One other approach we can look at authorized landfill disposal. What does this mean? Authorized landfill disposal may be used for residual electronic waste that cannot safely be repaired, reused, donated, returned, or cycled. It involves taking such e-waste to approved disposal facility instead of dumping it in open places, e.g. Moana. We have Moana center in Gayaza. So this one is one we can say it is one of the authorized landfill disposal area. So the circle should separate and securely store the remaining e-waste while waiting for collection. That is the role of the circle here. Then we have authorized waste collectors and transporters. For them as stakeholders, their role is to collect and carry it to approved disposal site. And NEMA and other local authorities as stakeholders, their role is to guide, regulate, and monitor its disposal to ensure that hazardous materials are not dumped carelessly. For example, unusable residues left after recoverable parts have been removed should be handled to an approved waste management facility rather than thrown into the circle's ordinary rubbish pit. This prevents uncontrolled dumping and reduces environmental contamination. One other method we can look at, or one other approach, is reuse. And reuse or refill means using an electronic item or component again instead of throwing it away when it can still provide useful service. So at the circle, working cables, keyboards, adapters, and other accessories can be reused with compatible equipment, while refillable printer cartridges can be serviced and used again. So the circle management or the ICT officer is going to identify items that may still be useful. Then a qualified technician or a service provider is going to check their condition, provide repairs, uh, repairs suitable components or refills cartridges before they are returned to use. For example, a working keyboard from a Forte computer can be connected to another circle's computer instead of being discarded with the system unit. This reduces e-waste and saves money on replacement equipment. So we can provide one other approach, which is controlled incineration. So when it comes to controlled incineration, it involves treating only suitable waste in a specialized or authorized facility under controlled condition. It should never mean burning electronic equipment openly at the circle. So the circle management should separate waste requiring specialized treatment and hand it over to authorized waste management companies. NEMA as a stakeholder and other local authorities are going to provide regulatory oversight and ensure that only approved facilities and methods are used. Then, licensed treatment facility determines whether any residual material is suitable for controlled thermal treatment and handles it using specialized equipment. For example, the circle should never burn cables, batteries, or circuit boards behind its office. These should instead be handed to authorized handlers who determine the safe treatment method. This prevents staff members and nearby communities from being exposed to harmful smokes or chemicals. So one other method is computer cannibalism or recovery of useful parts. Then we can also talk about acid bath processing, etc. etc. Now, one of the important components not to miss is that data breach element. It is an important data security before e-waste leaves the circle. So data breach occurs when confidential information is accessed, copied, changed, or exposed to people who are not authorized to use it. Some system units, hard disks, SSDs, and other storage devices belonging to Ruwero Community Produce SACCO may still contain members' names, savings records, loan details, account balances, and produce payment information. And if such equipment is donated, sold, returned, or cycled without protecting data, another person may recover the information and use it for fraud, for identity theft, unauthorized changes to members' accounts, etc. So, the SACCO management and ICT personnel must therefore ensure that confidential information is protected before any data storage devices leaves the SACCO. And these methods include: one, we have electronic erasing. And electronic erasing, it involves securely wiping information from a storage device so that it cannot easily be recovered. Before a system unit is donated or sold, the SACCO ICT technician should use an appropriate secure data erasing tool like DBAN to wipe members' savings, loan, repayment records from its hard disk or SSD rather than simply deleting the files. So we need electronic erasing. For example, an old account's computer being donated to a school should have all SACCO financial records securely erased first. This prevents the new user from recovering confidential information from those systems. Another method we can use to avoid data breach before disposal is done is destroying physical storage components. Where a storage device contains highly sensitive information and it is faulty or will never be used again, the SACCO can arrange for its secure physical destruction. We can use like hammers, we destroy them, or drill holes, or use shredders. The SACCO management identifies the storage device and authorizes its destruction, while an approved ICT or data destruction service provider removes or securely destroys the hard disks or other storage components. The remaining computer parts can be recycled separately. For example, a damaged hard disk containing members' savings and loan records can be removed from an obsolete system unit and securely destroyed before the system unit is handed to a recycler. This makes recovery of the information practically impossible. The third method is encrypting the data. So encryption converts readable information into coded form that can only be opened using the correct password or encryption key. The SACCO's ICT personnel should encrypt computers and storage devices containing confidential members' information while they are still in use. Staff members must keep passwords and encryption keys secure and avoid sharing them with unauthorized people. For example, if an encrypted SACCO laptop containing produce payment records is stolen, the thief cannot easily read those records without the correct key. Encryption, therefore, reduces the risk of data breach when equipment is lost or stolen. Lastly, we have what we call data masking. So as a method to prevent data breach, data masking, it hides sensitive information by replacing real details with altered or substitute values when the original information is not required. The SACCO's ICT officer or data administrator should prepare masked copies of data before giving test information to technicians, trainers, or other people who don't need to see real members' records. For example, a technician testing repaired circle software could see account number, this, instead of this kind of account number, so they can see this. While real names and account balances are replaced with sample information. This allows the technician to see the system without seeing confidential member details. So generally, data masking is useful when information must still be used for testing or demonstration training, but it does not replace secure erasing or destruction when a storage device is permanently being sold, donated, or disposed of. So data masking is generally within an organization. If they're going to test something, there is a training, there is demonstration, etc. So we can now conclude generally on item 2, having seen the ICT system security and then e-waste management. In conclusion, the circle should protect its systems through strong passwords, two-factor authentication, updated antivirus, controlled access, system software updates, and regular backups. Its faulty electronic equipment should be reused, donated, sold, returned through take-back programs, recycled, or safely disposed of with the help of relevant stakeholders. So this is our conclusion, and we are done with this very item where we looked at the causes, and each cause had its mitigation. We have looked at e-waste management approaches, each approach with a stakeholder and a stakeholder role. And finally, we have a conclusion. Remember, we started with an intro. So that is generally the idea. Then we need now to look at another item. So another item, that is item 3. So when it comes to item 3, we can look at now item 3. So with item 3, from here, item 3, here we go. S.4 Community Digital Learning Center provides computer and internet services to learners, job seekers, and small business owners. The center is usually busy, with some users spending several hours on computers without taking breaks. The manager has also noticed an increase in the misuse of the internet. Many users sit on uncomfortable chairs, bend too close to the screens, use monitors with very high brightness, and work for long periods without resting. The manager is becoming concerned about these habits and the way some users behave online. So we can see inside this training center, some members are bending their back, as you can see. They are bending their work as they are working. Some screens have too much brightness. You can see how others are seated. So generally we can see the kind of posture. So these are some of the issues. And more to that, the center has also damaged monitors, keyboards, mice, laptop batteries, printer cartridges, cables, and other electronic items that are no longer in use. They have piled up in a store, and some workers have suggested burning them together with ordinary rubbish to create more space. So we can see here, this is the e-waste, which members are suggesting that they burn so that they create space. So we have tasks. Part A, examine the ways ICTs are being used at the center and advise the manager on appropriate measures that should be taken. Part B, advise the center on suitable ways of managing the unwanted electronic equipment. So still on item 2 and item 3, we said that a task taker, the candidate, should be competent in explaining a cause or a consequence. So here we have seen that so far that users sit on uncomfortable chairs, they bend too close to the screen, they use monitors with very high brightness, they work for longer hours without resting. So some of these, they have given us the causes now in this scenario. And now, in our advice of part A, we shall be looking at the consequences that result from these. So this item is requiring 4 consequences. And each consequence is going to have its mitigation. This very item is having another component of misuse of internet, and it is also calling for consequences and their mitigations. So the same item is looking at health and safety, then internet abuse. So it is from this that we are going to look at the expected responses. Part A is looking at health and safety, where we are going to look at the consequences and their mitigations. Still, part A is looking at internet abuse and internet abuse. These are consequences and their mitigations. Then part B is on e-waste management. That's what we are going to look at in the expected responses. So we can now look at the expected responses for item 3. So with item 3, with our expected responses, we said we are looking at health and safety, the consequences, and their mitigations. So we shall begin with identifying the item, that is item 3, first of all, and then we bring an introduction. Remember, the introduction is supposed to have the basics. S.4 Community Digital Learning Center is facing unsafe computer use practices, increasing internet misuse, and poor management of damaged electronic equipment like monitors, keyboards, mice, laptop batteries, printer cartridges, and cables. The center should promote safe ICT use, control internet abuse, and manage its e-waste properly. So this is our intro, and we have given it, the character is there, the areas of focus are there, and the direction has been identified. So part A, examine the ways ICTs are being used at the center and advise the manager on appropriate measures that should be taken. And I said at this item, part A, we are going to be looking at the consequences and their mitigations. So one of the consequences is back pain. Users who sit on uncomfortable chairs and bend towards their screens for longer periods may develop back pain. So how does this contribute to the problem? Poor posture and lack of proper back support strain the lower back muscles and place continuous pressure on the spine. Over time, this can lead to muscle stiffness, reduced flexibility, and persistent discomfort that may affect a user's ability to sit and walk for longer periods. So here we have explained our consequence, which is back pain, and how it contributes to the problem. Now we need to bring the mitigation, the prevention. To prevent this, the center should provide ergonomic chairs, encourage users to sit upright with their backs supported and feet flat on the floor, and allow regular breaks. How does this chosen mitigation solves the problem? By doing this, the spine is kept in a natural position, pressure on the back muscles is reduced, and long-term damage is prevented, thereby improving comfort, posture, and productivity during computer use. So this is our mitigation. Another consequence is eye strain. Users who work with monitors set at very high brightness or sit too close to the screen may develop eye strain. Excessive screen light forces the eye to work harder to focus, which can lead to tired eyes, blurred vision, dryness, and headache. If not addressed, this may reduce concentration and make it difficult to continue working effectively. So that is the consequence that is clearly explained. Now we need to look at the mitigation for this consequence of eye strain. To avoid this, users should reduce screen brightness to comfortable level or use anti-glare screens where necessary, and keep the monitor about 50 to 70 centimeters away. How does this chosen mitigation solve the problem? In this way, glare and excessive light exposure are reduced, allowing the eye muscles to relax, which keeps users such as learners, the job seekers, and business owners to work for longer periods without discomfort or vision problems. So this is our mitigation. Let's look at another consequence, which is headache. So headaches, and we are saying that spending several hours on computers without resting, especially when using very bright screens, may cause headaches. Continuous focus on the screen strains the eye and brain, while poor lighting and lack of breaks increase mental fatigue. This combination can result in persistent or recurring headaches that reduce productivity and concentration. So that is our consequence. We need to see how to mitigate this. Users should take regular breaks, adjust screen brightness, and avoid working continuously for longer periods. So how does this chosen mitigation solves the problem? And we are saying that as a result, the eyes and brain are given time to rest and recover, reducing accumulated strain and preventing headaches, which helps users remain comfortable and focused during computer tasks. So that is our mitigation. Number 4, repetitive strain injury as another consequence. Continuous typing and mouse use without breaks may cause repetitive strain injury. Repeated movements of the fingers, hands, and wrists press stress on muscles and tendons and nerves, which can lead to pain, swelling, weakness, and long-term damage if not properly managed. And now we need to see how to mitigate this. To prevent this, users should take regular breaks, stretch their hands and wrists, and use properly positioned ergonomic keyboards and mice. By doing so, repeated stress on the same muscles and joints is reduced, blood saturation improves, and the risk of long-term injury during extended computer use is significantly lowered. Another consequence is wrist pain. Using a keyboard or mouse for long periods while the wrists are bent or poorly positioned may lead to wrist pain. This occurs when pressure is continuously applied to the wrist joints and surrounding tissues, causing inflammation, stiffness, and discomfort that may interfere with typing and mouse control. To avoid this, the center should provide ergonomic keyboards and mice. Where possible, ensure that keyboards are placed at comfortable height. In this way, keeping the wrists straight and relaxed reduces unnecessary pressure on the joints, improves comfort, and allows users to type and navigate efficiently without pain. So this is our mitigation which we have provided for this very area. Let's look at one and we look at the internet abuses. Neck and shoulder pain. As one of the consequences, users who bend too close to the screen or work with poorly positioned monitors may develop neck and shoulder pain. Prolonged forward bending of the head places strain on neck muscles and shoulders, leading to stiffness, reduced mobility, and discomfort that may worsen over time. How are we going to mitigate this? Monitors should be positioned directly in front of users, with the top of the screen around eye level, while users sit upright. As a result, the head, neck, and shoulders remain aligned in a natural position, reducing muscle strain, preventing long-term posture problems, and improving comfort during extended computer use. So this is our mitigation for neck and shoulder pain. Now, remember this item had a component of internet abuse. So I would like us to look at internet abuse, these consequences, and their mitigations. At best, we can look at like 4 of them. To begin with, we have immorality or immoral decay. So this misusing the center's internet to access pornographic or other inappropriate content may negatively affect users' behavior, values, and concentration on useful activities. It can also distort moral judgment, reduce focus on productive tasks, and create an healthy learning or working environment. So this consequence here, it can be prevented through use of network filters, firewalls, and network administrator controls to block inappropriate websites and sensitize users about responsible internet use. And how does this chosen mitigation solve the problem? By doing so, access to harmful content is restricted and users are guided to use the internet in a responsible and productive manner. So that is our application. Let's look at loss of productive time as one of the consequences. Some users may spend too much time on social media, games, entertainment, or unrelated browsing instead of studying, searching for jobs, or carrying out business activities. This reduces efficiency and delays important tasks such as completing applications or business research. To avoid this, the center should set reasonable internet use limits and restrict unnecessary entertainment sites during working hours. In this way, users are encouraged to focus on meaningful activities such as job applications or research, thereby improving productivity and effective use of time. So far, those are the internet abuse consequences. We can also look at another one. We have internet addict and social isolation. Excessive internet use may lead to internet addiction and social isolation, where users spend too much time online and neglect studies, work, or interaction with other people. This can reduce communication skills, it weakens relationships, and affect mental well-being. To mitigate this, users should take regular breaks from internet and follow reasonable usage schedules. As a result, they are able to balance online activities with real-life interaction, maintain healthy relationships, and avoid overdependency on internet use. So we have given a consequence and a cause. Let's look at another consequence. We have cyberbullying and online harassment. Some users may misuse social media or messaging apps to insult, threaten, embarrass, or harass others. This can cause fear, stress, emotional distress, and may even affect a victim's confidence and willingness to use online platforms. To prevent this, the center should have clear, acceptable use rules, sensitize users about respectful online behavior, and provide a way of reporting abuse. By doing so, harmful behavior is discouraged, victims are protected, and offenders can be identified and dealt with appropriately. Another consequence, we have data loss through malware. Visiting unsafe websites or downloading unknown files may introduce viruses, ransomware, spyware, or other malware onto the center's computers. These malicious programs can corrupt files, delete important files, slow down systems, or make computers unusable. To avoid this, the center should install and regularly update trusted antivirus software, restrict unsafe downloads, and encourage users to visit trusted websites. In this way, malware is detected and blocked early, protecting important documents belonging to learners, job seekers, and business users from loss or damage. Another consequence is loss of privacy, or we can call it account takeover. Users who share passwords, financial details, or other personal information on unsafe websites may lose control of their accounts or private information. This can lead to identity theft, unauthorized access, and misuse of personal data. This is the consequence. To mitigate this, users should use strong passwords, two-factor authentication, and avoid entering sensitive details on suspicious links or websites. As a result, personal accounts such as email, social media, and financial platforms are better protected from unauthorized access. Lastly, we can look at online fraud and loss of money. As a consequence, job seekers and small business owners may fall for fake jobs, investment schemes, prizes, or phishing messages and lose money or personal information. Fraudsters often use convincing messages to trick users into paying fees or sharing sensitive data. To prevent this, users should verify online offers from official sources, avoid suspicious links, and confirm opportunities before making payments. For example, a job seeker should check a vacancy on the employer's official website before paying any application fee, thereby avoiding financial loss and fraud. So that was part A, which was looking at generally we have seen areas like health and safety where users are using the ICT devices in an uncomfortable way. They have provided us with causes, and now we will look at consequences, health and safety, consequences, and their mitigations. Then from there, the item also had internet abuse, which we have handled, each consequence, and the mitigation. So from here, I would like us to look at part B of e-waste management. Part B, advise the center on suitable ways of managing the unwanted electronic equipment. And number one, we can begin by donation. So donation as a measure, we are saying that donation can be used where some equipment is no longer needed by the center, but is still working or can work after minor repair. Kasese Community Digital Learning Center can give unusable monitors, keyboards, mice, or cables to nearby schools, training centers, or community organizations that still need them. This can be done by working hand in hand with qualified technicians who checks and repairs suitable equipment before it is given out. That is their role. The center management as a stakeholder identifies and approves and records the items, while the beneficiary institution where the e-waste is going to be donated receives and put them into use, put them back into use. This clears space in the center's store. It extends the useful life of the equipment and reduces the amount of e-waste being discarded. Number two, we have sell for cash as a measure. Sell for cash can be used by selling faulty or unwanted equipment to technicians, second-hand electronic traders, or authorized scrap handlers who can repair, resell, dismantle, or recover useful parts from it. So as an approach, the center can sort and sell unwanted monitors, keyboards, mice, and cables in partnership with technicians and electronic traders. So these are the stakeholders. For example, this one, even the center management. Then the center management is going to identify and approve and record items for sale. That is the role. Then the dealers, these electronic traders or technicians, are going to collect them, repair those that can still work, and recover useful components from those that cannot work. So, meaning that a faulty monitor may therefore be repaired and sold to another user instead of being thrown away. This decongests the store, extends the usefulness of some equipment, and allows the center to recover some money. Then, another approach, we have recycling. Recycling can be used for equipment that is completely damaged and cannot be repaired or reused. Such items can be dismantled and processed to recover useful materials such as copper, aluminium, plastics, and other valuable materials. So with this kind of approach, the center should work with licensed e-waste recyclers, authorized collectors, NEMA or local authorities to manage damaged monitors, laptop batteries, printer cartridges, cables, and other usable equipment. Center management sorts and records the e-waste. Authorized collectors transport it to recycling facilities, while recyclers dismantle the equipment and recover useful materials. For the case of NEMA and local authorities, they provide guidance and ensure that proper environmental procedures are followed. That is each stakeholder and their role. So with this kind of approach, copper from damaged cables can therefore be recovered instead of the cables being burnt with ordinary rubbish. This reduces e-waste at the center and prevents environmental pollution. Another approach is take-back program. And the take-back program can be used by returning old or faulty electronic products to suppliers, importers, or manufacturers for refurbishment, recycling, or safe disposal. This kind of approach, the center should work with suppliers or manufacturers of its equipment to return worn-out laptop batteries, faulty monitors, used printer cartridges, and other eligible devices. So the center management identifies and records items for return, while the supplier, importer, or manufacturer collects them and channels them to approved repair, recycling, or disposal facilities. For example, worn out batteries can therefore be be returned to the supplier instead of remaining in the store or being burnt. This removes potentially hazardous e-waste and ensures that it is handled by organizations with suitable facilities. Number 5, we are looking at reuse or refill as an approach can be applied to equipment or components that still have some useful life instead of throwing them away. Working keyboards, mice, cables, and adapters can be used with other equipments, while suitable printer cartridges can be refilled. This approach is possible by working with qualified technicians or service providers who test the items, repair those that need minor attention, and refill suitable cartridges. So the center management is going to identify and keep records of the items that can safely be returned. So that is the role of the center management. For example, a working mouse from a damaged computer can therefore be connected to another computer instead of being discarded. This reduces the amount of e-waste in the store and saves the center money on replacement. Let's look uh, at least one other approach that we never looked at in the previous scenario, and I'm going to talk about acid bath processing. So acid bath processing may be used by specialized electronic processors to recover valuable materials from suitable electronic components through controlled chemical processes. So as a measure, since the process involves dangerous chemicals, the center should partner with authorized e-waste collectors and certified processing companies rather than attempting it on its premises. The center is going to identify, record, and safely hand over suitable circuit boards and related equipments. That is the role of the center in this approach. Then, authorized collectors transport them, while certified processors recover the valuable materials under controlled conditions. NEMA, as a stakeholder, provide regulatory oversight to ensure safe handling of the chemicals and resulting waste. This allows useful materials to be recovered from otherwise unusable electronic components while promoting center workers, users, and the environment from hazardous chemicals. So we need to conclude for this very item by saying that Kasese Community Digital Learning Center should promote healthy computer use through proper sitting posture, suitable screen settings, and regular breaks, while controlling internet abuse through filtering, sensitization, strong security, and responsible use rules. While its damaged monitors, keyboards, mice, batteries, cartridges, and cables should be reused, donated, sold, returned through take-back programs, recycled, or safely disposed of with the help of relevant stakeholders. So, this is our conclusion. And now we are done with section B, part 1. So, from there, we are going to be looking at item 4 and item 5, which is section B, part 2. So with section B part 2, we have seen that this section B part 2 is from the third element of construct, which forms item 4 and 5, which is on information access, storage, and sharing using ICTs. So here we need process skills. They are the ones that are tested here. So the basis of assessment are identifying and explaining a process of information access, storage, and sharing step by step. Logical flow is important, and at the end of it all, it must be a formal presentation. So that is the approach of section B part 2. So with section B part 2, it is also a three-dimensional cluster, and every process must have a properly explained supporting tool. Tools mentioned can be hardware, software, buttons, or software features. So we need to see a logical flow and a formal presentation. So from there, I would like us to go through item 4 and 5. So with item 4 and 5, that is section B, part 2. We start with item 4. Annette and Grace are close friends. Annette recently completed a short computer course in computer applications and would like to have a digital certificate to show that she completed the training. She has emailed Grace the wording and other details to include on the certificate, and has also given her a printed passport size photograph to add to it. Once the certificate is ready, Grace should save it as PDF and send a copy to Annette by email on annette256@gmail.com. So here we are seeing an email graphic. So here is an email screenshot, and this is in the inbox. Details for my computer certificate course was the title. From Annette to Grace. Hello Grace, I hope you are doing well. Please help me prepare a digital certificate for the computer course I recently completed. Below are the details to include name, Annette Nambasa, course, office, applications, training center, Bright Future Computer Training Center, duration 6 weeks, date of completion 15th August 2026. The certificate should show that I successfully completed training in Microsoft Word, Excel, Microsoft PowerPoint, Internet, and email. I have also given you my printed passport size photograph to include on the certificate. Once the certificate is ready, please save it as PDF and send it back to me through this email address. Thank you for your help. Kind regards, Annette Nambasa, annette256@gmail.com. Grace missed some ICT lessons that would have helped her carry out the task. So she has asked you for guidance. Task. Guide Grace on the appropriate ICT tools and steps she should use to complete Annette's request successfully. So here we need to address this scenario that first of all, Grace emailed Annette. Sorry? Annette emailed Grace the wording to include on the certificate. So we need how to access the email first of all. Then after accessing the email and the other details, we also need to scan the printed passport photograph, and then we give procedures how to create the certificate. After creating a certificate, we save it into a PDF. Then we go back to the email and compose to send to Annette. So let's look at the expected responses. So for item 4 and 5, begin with item 4, we have our introduction. Grace needs to access the certificate details sent by Annette. Scan the printed passport photograph, prepare the certificate, for example, in Microsoft Publisher, save it as a PDF, and send it back by email. She should follow the correct steps using suitable ICT tools. Now, we have the procedures. So each procedure must have a supporting tool. So to begin with, start the computer and connect it to the internet. That is our first procedure. Grace should switch on the computer, so a computer is a tool or a laptop, and connect it to a stable internet using Wi-Fi, MiFi, or another reliable network. This will allow her to access Annette's email and later send the completed certificate. So this is our procedure 1. Then we come to procedure 2. Access and save Annette's certificate details. Grace should open Google Chrome, go to Gmail, sign in and open the email sent by Annette. She should copy the certificate, wording, and other details into Microsoft Word or Notepad and save the file as certificatedetails.doc or certificatedetails.txt for easy reference. So this is another procedure, and the tools are there: Microsoft Word, Notepad. Then procedure number 3. Scan and save the passport PDF. Using File Explorer, Grace should create a folder named Annette Certificate. That is a tool. File Explorer is a tool on the desktop or in the documents. She should scan printed passport photograph using a scanner and save it in the folder as annettepassport.jpg or another suitable JPEG or PNG file. That is the third procedure. The first procedure is to prepare the certificate in Publisher. Grace should open Microsoft Publisher and choose a suitable certificate template. So Publisher is a tool. Or start with a blank publication. Next, set page size and orientation, insert text boxes, and type or paste the wording from the certificate details.doc or text. From the certificate, format the certificate using suitable fonts, alignment, borders, and shapes. Then from insert pictures, select Annette from Annette Passport JPEG from Annette Certificate folder. Then resize and position it appropriately. Next, provide suitable spaces or signature lines for signing. Proofread the certificate and save the editable file as annettecertificate.pub in the same folder. Remember, Annette created a folder called Annette Certificate. So everything should be saved there. Step number 4. So this is our procedure number 4 is done. Now, number 5. Convert the certificate to PDF. Grace should use file, export, create PDF export or save as PDF and save the final copy as Annette certificate.pdf in the same folder. So here we are looking at this procedure, and then file is a tool because the options, I mean the file features, are also tools. Step number 6. Open the email service. Grace should ensure the computer is connected to the internet and open Google Chrome. Go to Gmail and sign in into the account she will use to send the certificate. So that is number 6. Step number 7. Compose the email and attach the certificate. Grace should click compose, enter Annette's email address, that is annette256@gmail.com, and prepare a short message like, so here we have subject, computer course certificate, message. Dear Annette, please find the attached. Dear Annette, please find attached your completed computer course certificate as requested. Regards, Grace. Then she should click the attach, what we call the paperclip button, and open the certificate folder and select the certificate, which is Annette certificate.pdf. Gmail will upload and attach the PDF to the message. So here is our procedure number 7. Step number 8. Send and confirm. Grace should check the recipient's email address, message, and attachment, then click send. She should then open the sent folder and confirm that the email containing Annette's certificate appears there. So this is our procedure number 8, and we are done. Let's conclude. By following these steps, Grace can access Annette's information, prepare the certificate, save it as PDF, and successfully send it by email. So here, every procedure is a tool, and we are done with that item. Let's now look at item 5. So item 5, it goes. So item 5, here we are. Sarah runs a small tailoring business in Mityana town. She recently learned about a district program that supports young entrepreneurs with business training and equipment. To take part, applicants are required to apply online. The application form is available on the program website at https://www.mityana-youth-support.example/apply. Sarah needs to download the form, fill in her details, sign it, and submit it together with copies of her national ID and business registration document through the same website. She has the required documents at home but has little experience using computers and the internet. She is worried that she may miss the opportunity and has asked for guidance. So here we can see the district youth entrepreneurship program website. This is Mityana local government, Mityana district local government youth entrepreneurship support program. The website is here: home, about us, program, resources, news, events, contact us, apply now, and we can see the details. Here we can see the PDF where they are going to apply. The download button is there. The apply option is there. So Mityana Youth Program online application page is the one you are viewing right now. Guide Sarah on the ICT tools and steps she should use to download, complete, and submit the application successfully. So let's head over to the expected responses of this very item. So we start over with item 5, numbering, and then introduction. Sarah needs to access the district program website, download and complete the application form, prepare digital copies of the required documents, and submit everything online. She should use the suitable ICT tools and follow the steps in correct order. So now that is our introduction. Let's now look at the procedures in coming up with a document that will help Sarah to submit everything. So to begin with, number 1, we are saying that start the computer and connect it to the internet. That is number 1. Sarah should switch on a computer or laptop and connect it to a stable internet using Wi-Fi, MiFi, or another reliable network. This will allow her to access the program website and submit the application online. Step number 2, access the website and download the application form. So procedure 1 is done. So number 2, she should open Google Chrome and enter the URL in the address bar to open the district program application page. Using File Explorer, she should create a folder and name it Sarah application on the desktop or in documents. Then click the download button to download the program and save it in that folder. This is our procedure number 2. Step number 3, fill in and save the application form. Sarah should open the downloaded form using a suitable application such as Microsoft Word, if it is in Word, or Adobe Acrobat Reader, if it is a fillable PDF. She should enter the required details like personal and business, check that they are correct, and save the completed form in the Sarah application folder. So that is our step number 3. Step number 4, sign in and scan the required documents. If a handwritten signature is required, Sarah should print the completed form using a printer, sign it, and use a scanner to scan it back into the computer. She should also scan clear copies of the national ID and business registration document, then save them in the same folder using clear names like Sarah signed application, Sarah national ID, Sarah business registration. So this is our step number 4. Step number 5, return to the program website. Sarah should open Google Chrome and return to this in the address bar. If required, she should sign in or create an account and complete any remaining information requested on the online application page. Step number 6, upload and submit the application. Upload and submit the application. So, under step number 6, on the website, Sarah should use the upload or choose file button to browse the Sarah application folder and upload Sarah signed application.pdf, Sarah national ID.pdf, Sarah business registration.pdf. After confirming that all the correct files have been finished uploading, she should click submit button. So where I put a T is a tool. So procedure number 6 is done. Step number 7, confirm the submission. Sarah should wait for a submission confirmation message, reference number, or acknowledgement from the website and save or print it where possible. She can also take a screenshot or save the confirmation page in the Sarah application folder as a proof that the application was successfully submitted. So we can now conclude. By following these steps, Sarah can use a computer, internet connection, Google Chrome, File Explorer, printer, and scanner to download, complete, store, and successfully submit her application through the website, which is https://www.example/apply. So we are done with our conclusion. Now, remember this item 1 has description for the procedure where each procedure and a tool are needed. At least minimum 6 procedures, each procedure with a tool, and that one can carry about 6 scores. Then we have logical flow, FL, for logical flow, about 4 scores. And then we have the conclusion or the introduction. Any of those can take about 2 scores. So that means that item 4, stroke 5, about 12 scores. Then when it comes to item 2 and 3, we have seen that at least we need explanation of the cause or consequence. At least we need 6 causes, each cause with mitigation, or each consequence with its mitigation. 6 consequences or 6 causes, and each with mitigation. That's about 6. And then we now prevent e-waste, provide the management measures to e-waste, and with this, at least 4 measures to e-waste, 4 stakeholders, 4 roles. So with this, when they are well explained, that's about 6. Then we can also look at format of the presentation, where we can consider introduction or conclusion at 2. So that can be about 14. Then for item 1, with item 1, we can have introduction, which will take 2 scores once it is having all the basics. Then we need the ICT tools, description of the ICT tools, about 6 of them, 5 to 6, 5 to 6 tools, 6 scores. Then we need the explanation of the management measures. So the management measures here, about 45 management measures. That's about 5 scores. So when you look at that, can be like at 13 or 14. So generally, that is the summary. My telephone number is 077-5610762 for any inquiries. I remain Kakuru Bernard. See you in the next video episode. Jabres.